Today we are having what I'm calling a dip-a-thon. We're going to be making 5 different incredible dips. So if you're looking for something that's easy to make and you can even make it a day or so ahead of the time before your event, then you have come to the right spot. Hi, I'm Melissa Diane, and on this channel we have so much fun in the kitchen and in the garden and just all around our home. So let me show you really quickly the 5 different dips that we're going to be making today. First of all, we're going to have one. I love this dip. I've made it many times. This is called a holiday candied jalapeno dip. It's fantastic. We're also going to be making a 7-layer Mexican dip. Incredible dip. You're going to love this one. We're going to be doing a spicy spinach dip. Again, lovely, lovely. You're going to love it. And then we're making 2 different cream cheese dips. The first one I've never made before. It looks awesome. I found it on the internet and kind of made some tweaks to it. And it is a cream cheese dip, but it has some different fruits in there. It looks amazing. And then my last dip really is the showstopper. It's a simple dip, but every single time that we make it, I mean, people eat this like crazy. And it's from a really good friend of mine, one of my best friends. Her name is Toby. And so this is Toby's cheese ball that we're going to be rounding out the dip-a-thon with. Our first dip that we're doing today is our holiday candied jalapeno dip. You can do this any time of the year, but it's really wonderful during the holidays because it's all red and green and it's just so pretty. Here are the ingredients that we're going to be using, and it takes only about less than 5 minutes to put together. You got your candied jalapenos. Now I like to use the Buyer's candied jalapenos. You're going to take these, you're going to take about 8 ounces of them, and you're going to chop them up. Not real fine, just in little small pieces though. Get those all chopped up. Then you're going to need some cream cheese, but it needs to be the whipped cream cheese, not the regular, rectangle that you see, but the whipped cream cheese. Then the other item you're going to use are some pecans, but these are, let me see the name of these. These are cinnamon frosted pecans. This is what works best in these. You're going to take them and you're going to take some of them and you're going to cut these up real finely, chop them up real fine. I went ahead and did that and put them in a baggie. And then you're going to have a few more of those that we're going to put on top of the dip. So now let's go ahead and let's get our dip started. So let's take our whipped cream cheese here. Let me get this off. And we are going to take this apart and get it going. Here we go. Now I have done this recipe several times, and I did one time try doing this with the regular cream cheese, and it does not work near as well. Okay, to get that whipped cream cheese, and I just love this whipped cream cheese. I don't know who came up with this idea. It's wonderful. Got that. There we go. Now, the next thing we do is we're just going to take our chopped up candied jalapenos, okay? We're going to dump them all in there. And when we get this all done, I'll bring you up closer so you can see the finished product. But we're just going to go ahead and mix this all together. And y'all, and what is so nice about this, if you are doing this during the holidays, is it's so pretty. It's such a pretty dip. And now, once you've gotten that mixed up, a few more pieces right there. We're going to go ahead and take, it's about 2 ounces is what it comes to, of these frosted cinnamon pecans. I mean, just the name alone sounds fantastic. Slid that over there. Let's mix these together. And now, since these are all mixed up, we're just going to take this and put this in our little dish. And this does not make a large amount. If you want more than this, like a bigger, if this is one of the only dips you're serving, and you're just doing 1 or 2, you could double this recipe. But usually when I'm doing an event or friends and family are coming over, we do several different dips. So we've seen a small amount. I went ahead and got my little serving dish here, and this is a small dish. We're just going to put this in here. Then what you're going to do is you're going to top it with some of these pecans. Okay, now I'm just spreading this really good in here. And before I go put this little spatula in the sink, I'm going to taste this really quick before we put the topping on. So let me see. I'm going to get just a little bit here. Let me taste it. Oh my gosh. Y'all, that is so good. If you like jalapenos, you're gonna love it. But you know what? It's not super spicy, believe it or not. So even if you're not a big jalapeno lover, you like just a little spice, you're gonna love this. So now let's put the topping on. Before I show you what we finished up with, let me show you these candied jalapenos again. These Buyer's Best candied jalapenos. That is what makes the difference in this recipe. Here we go. Our first dip is done. We got those frosted cinnamon pecans on top. Woo, it looks fantastic. So now let's get on to our second dip. So for our second dip, we're going to be doing our spicy spinach dip. So here are the ingredients that we're going to be using for this one. And again, this is a very simple one to put together. So we're going to be starting with some sour cream. You're going to need about 8 ounces of sour cream. Then some grated Parmesan cheese. And this right here, you're going to need about, let me look on my over here, you're gonna need about a 1/3 cup of that grated Parmesan cheese. We're gonna use 1 can of chopped spinach, a few pimentos, and then about 1/8 of a teaspoon here of your cayenne pepper. Then we've got bacon, and probably about 6 strips of bacon chopped up. I'm only using 5 because I ate one a while ago. I was getting hungry, but you need about 6 strips of bacon you can chop up, and then some serrano peppers. You can use jalapeno peppers. I'm just using about 3 of these good sized serrano peppers, and I'm going to chop those up real finely also. Now we're ready to go ahead and take all these ingredients and put them in our spicy spinach dip. So first of all, I'm actually going to combine, I'm looking over here at my directions, I'm going to combine my sour cream. First of all, let me get my sour cream in here. Remember, that's 8 ounces of your sour cream, or 1 little tub. So we've got that. And now we're going to combine that along with the Parmesan cheese. And it's 1/3 a cup of grated Parmesan cheese. So let's mix that all together. Now we're getting ready to put in our spinach. Now we're just going to put in the spinach. Make sure that you drain this can. Okay. Now I absolutely love spinach. I can't eat spinach. If any of y'all out there, this is a personal note, but some of y'all can relate. If there's any of you out there that have little kidney stones that like to come visit you frequently, spinach is not good for that. And so I have not eaten spinach probably for about 10 years. But I am making this spinach dip because we're having some company over, and I want to make some really fun dips. And Jay, my husband, he loves spinach, so I'm mixing this up, and they can all munch on this. Oh my gosh, y'all, this just smells so good. Okay, I've gotten that part done. Now we're going to put in the bacon. Here we go. I mean, what can really get much better than a good spinach dip with some bacon in it? I mean, my goodness. I just wanted to see how quick you can actually put all this together. Now I have got those serrano peppers. So I'm going to put about half of those in there and see what that looks like. And that might be enough. You can kind of tell by looking. If you're getting the regular small serrano peppers, then definitely 3. These were some big ones. I grow these out in our garden, and so these were some big fat ones. We had fat serranos this year. I'm going to put a few more in there. There, I actually ended up putting almost all of them. Now we're going to put just a few little pimentos in there to give it some really good color. Now you could put in there some bell pepper maybe if you'd like to do that, but we're not doing that today. I'm just going to put a few of these little pimentos in there. Oh my goodness, y'all, this is going to be so pretty when we're all done. I might put a few more of those in to get some of that color. I don't know about y'all, but you know, I just like things to be pretty. If I spend time cooking on them, I want to be able to look at it and go, yeah, I really like that. Now, the other thing we're getting ready to do is we are going to put in here just a little bit, make sure I got it, just a little bit of cayenne pepper, just a little across the top. There we go. Oh, just a little more. Hang on. Just a little more across the top. Okay. It's actually about 1/8 of a teaspoon if you measure it out. And I'll leave you all those instructions in the video notes at the bottom. Okay, now come around here and let you see this. Okay, here we go. Take a look. See this? Oh my gosh. This is really, really looking good. Wow, look at that. This spinach dip looks wonderful. And this dish that I have this in, it's really special. This is a dish that was my great-grandmother's. Now, what you want to do, I'm gonna be putting this, I'm gonna put saran wrap all over the top of it. And then when I take this out tomorrow, because I'm gonna be using it for a party, I wanna crumble up some bacon. I'll cook some fresh bacon. I like to do that in the air fryer. And I'm gonna crumble some fresh bacon across the top. And that's gonna make this just look fantastic. So now on to dip number 3. For our third dip, we're going to be using some cream cheese, and this one again is super easy to put together. And this is our fruity cream cheese dip. So first of all, what you need is you're going to need about a half a cup of some dried apricots. Okay, get you some dried apricots. You're going to chop those up, and then about a half a cup of some dried cranberries. Also chop those up, and I've already gone ahead and done that right here. You're going to need an orange, because you're going to need a little bit of some orange zest. And then the other thing is simply a block of cream cheese. So we're going to go ahead now and mix everything together. I'm going to put my cream cheese in here. And now I'm going to go ahead and put in here my chopped up cranberries and my chopped up apricots. And then we're going to go ahead and mix this up. We're just going to mix this up a little bit at first. And I'm going to go ahead and put in that orange zest. So let's do that. So then we can mix everything all together. This is going to make a beautiful dip. And it's so easy. The hardest thing to this is just getting all those little dried fruits all chopped up. Here is our fruity cream cheese dip, and I would just put a few of those little dried cranberries on top. Man, that looks wonderful. I took a little nibble and it tastes great. So now let's get on to our fourth dip. For our next dip, we're making a dip that I have actually never made before, and I've got some notes here that I've made. This is a 7-layer Mexican dip. I've seen these, I've gone to parties, and I thought, ooh, I'd like to make one of those. So I went on the internet and kind of made up my own, kind of combined a few items. So we're going to be trying this today, y'all, and I think it's going to be fantastic. So here are the items that we're going to be using for our Mexican dip. We're going to have some refried beans. I think just 1 can ought to do it, and I will put all these measurements in the description section below the video. So you need your refried beans. You're going to need your taco seasoning. We're going to use some sour cream, some green onions, then some cheese, some shredded cheese, and I'm going to be using today some Colby and Monterey Jack shredded cheese, some serrano peppers. You could also use jalapeno peppers, some black olives sliced. We're going to use about 2 containers of these, I believe, and then some guacamole. You can make up your own guacamole. I'm trying to do this fairly quickly, so I decided to go to our local H-E-B, that's our grocery store, and I got me a container of guacamole already made. I've had theirs before, and it really is good. I don't think we'll need the whole container, probably about 3/4 of it. So the first thing you need to do is to figure out what dish you're going to use. And I believe this one will work fine. It's about a 10-inch pie plate. But the first thing I need to do is to spread the refried beans around the bottom. And I'm not a huge refried bean lover, but they taste really, really good in dips. But I think it'll be a lot easier if I can go warm this. So let me run in the pantry for the microwave, and I'm going to heat this up, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I brought this back. Let me move all this off real quick. And here we go. I'm hurrying because I think as long as they're warm, I think they're going to spread a little easier. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to spread these all along the bottom. Do you know what? When I look at this, I don't think that's enough to cover the whole bottom of this. I was just kind of going with some of the recipes I had seen. I think I'm going to take this, and I think I'm going to find me a different dish. I'll be right back. Okay, so look at this. I made an executive decision here. I'm using this dish, okay? And we're going to use this to put this in. I think this is going to work out better. It's a little bit smaller. I'd rather it be a little bit smaller and a little bit thicker. So I'll put this in here, and then I'll get what we put in that other dish. And I know it just needs to be a thin, not real thick layer on the bottom, but still, I just want it to be that thin. So let's scoop this out of here and put along the bottom. And then in just a second, I will I'll bring you around so you can see this. This is gonna be, I think, a lot better. And I'm excited about this recipe. Like I said, I've seen it before when I've gone places, and I went on and just kind of found some that I kind of liked and just kind of added a few things and took away a few things, and we're gonna see how this goes. A while ago, I did leave out the tomatoes. I didn't tell you about that. They do need to have some tomatoes. I'm gonna be using just a can of this Rotel tomatoes when we get to that part. Okay, great. So let me tilt this so you can see it. This is gonna be so much better. Look, I just took those beans, warmed them for about 45 seconds, and then it makes them really easy to spread, and just spread them all across the bottom. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna season up our sour cream. And what I mean by that is we're gonna take our 16 ounces here of sour cream, and we're going to take some taco seasoning, and we're just going to mix this together. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit in here, and then just start mixing this up in here. I think, let me grab just a little bit of a bigger bowl. Hang on, I'll be right back. Okay, what I'm doing now is I'm taking my sour cream, and I'm just going to go ahead and put it in a separate bowl. I was going to try to do this in the container, but I don't think it will work. I'm going to take this sour cream, and what I'm doing is I'm taking this taco seasoning, and I'm just dump that whole thing in here. And we're going to season up the sour cream. Okay, so let's mix it all up, and once we've gotten this all mixed, then we're going to put this layer, we're going to spread this very carefully on top of those refried beans. And I think what I'll do is I'll bring the camera over here so you can get a close-up look at this. So here I am, and I'm just gonna mix and mix and mix until this is all mixed together. And so that way this sour cream is all seasoned up with that taco seasoning. Now that I have this all mixed up right here, you can see it's all mixed up, it's all seasoned. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put a thin layer on top. I'm just going to spread this all over. After you put those refried beans in the bottom, now you'd warm those. You want to make sure, and you'll have plenty of time while you're working on everything else, but you just want to make sure you give those beans time to cool down and then settle, so that when you then go to put this next layer on, it's not going to get all messy. Okay, you'll be able to keep the layers on top of each other. They're not going to mix. Now once we have all of that spiced up sour cream in there, I'm going to go ahead now and just put a little bit of cheese all across the top. We're just going to spread a little bit of this cheese all over. We're going to come back, we can come back towards the end and put some more, but I just right now want to put just like a thin layer of cheese all across here. And like I said, I went online and tried to get some ideas and kind of switched it up a little bit. Next, we're going to come over here and we're going to put on our guacamole. But I think before I put that guacamole on, I think I'd like to go ahead now and put on my peppers. So let me take some of these peppers. These are some serrano peppers. I'm going to put these on. There we go. Just going to put those all over. If you wanted to stop at that point, that looks really pretty. But we're going to go ahead and keep going. And now I'm going to take that guacamole and I'm going to put some guacamole, a thin layer of that on top. And to do that, I'm going to put some blobs of this. Okay? I'll put some blobs of this all over. So that way when we spread it, we're not having to really spread too much. We're just kind of patting it. Okay, see what I'm talking about? If you put those blobs on there, then all you have to do is just barely spread. Because if you try to just start spreading it from scratch, you're going to drag everything with you. It's looking really, really good. What do you think? It's looking nice. Can you see it pretty good? I hope so. Now I am going to take some little onions and put all across the top. And when I get all done, I've added a few things to this recipe, y'all. So I'm probably going to have to change the name of this. I think that this might be an 8 or 9 layer dip. I'm going to have to count up everything that I put on here. Put those all over. That's looking good. Okay. And now I think what I'd like to do is go ahead now and put on the black olives. If you don't like black olives, you can leave these off, or you can use green olives. I happen to love black olives, so I'm going to put these all over. Lots and lots of them. I could put another can, but I don't think I think I may, because I had already opened it, so let's just go ahead. Okay, I think one would have been fine with this size of a dish, but I had already opened it, and I don't think I'm going to use these for another recipe right away. So let's just put these all over. Okay. I think what I'd like to do now is to put the, I'm going to put those Rotel tomatoes all over the top. Most people, when I'd looked at this recipe, they had just chopped up some tomatoes, but I think I want to put the Rotel on the very top, and then maybe a little cheese on top of that. So let's take these Rotel and let's put these on. Again, I'm going to put some blobs, so I'm not actually having to spread. Okay. And I may need another can. Let's see. So I want to cover the whole top of this. So let me, yeah. Or let's see, maybe not. Let's try to get by with what we have. Make sure that you do drain. If you use Rotel like I did, make sure you drain them. And this is just the original. They have all kinds of Rotel now. They've got like mild and super spicy, and this is just the original. Okay, there we go. And I think what I'm going to do is just to top that off with some cheese on top. So let's see. Let's see what we think. And this is going to be a wonderful dip. A wonderful, wonderful, wonderful dip. There we go. Look at that, y'all. It looks really good in that dish too, doesn't it? I love to put things in pretty casserole dishes, so it just turns out all nice and pretty. So there we are. That dip has turned out wonderful. And now let's get on to our last dip. I got to show you something before we get to our last dip. I need to show you this. I had chopped up a few of these little green onions here, and I'm going to put these all across the top too. There we go. I got a few more to add. And look at that. I think that makes it look even prettier. Okay, now let's get on to our last dip. Now for our last dip, we're going to be doing, this is Toby's cheese ball. But I will just tell you real quickly, I don't actually make a ball out of it. She is incredible at making the ball portion, and I usually just make it in a dish. But I'll tell you what, you're going to love this. But I still call this Toby's cheese ball. So we're going to be using a block of cream cheese. We're going to be using some shredded Colby and Monterey Jack cheese. We're going to be using some ranch seasoning, and then I've got some bacon here. You can use bacon bits, or you can do like I do, and I take my bacon, put it in the air fryer, and then chop it up. We're going to have some green onions and then some sliced up jalapenos. So let's get to it. First thing I'm going to do is I want to take that block of cream cheese, and I have let this sit out. It's been sitting out for about probably about 30 minutes to get soft. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of this ranch seasoning mix on top of this. Okay, I might put some more in, it just depends. See what it looks like in a minute. I'm gonna put this in there and just mix this all up. Now I'm gonna put in some onions. Let's mix this up. Okay, now I'm gonna take those bacon bits and put those in. Now, as we're continuing to mix that, I'm going to go ahead and put in some of the shredded cheese. There we go. And then I'm going to put in some of these jalapenos. Now, let me tell you, as I'm doing this, I'm going to go back and I'll probably put in more of each of these ingredients. But I'm going to go ahead and get it started. I think these may be jalapenos, but I'm thinking these may be serrano peppers. I didn't label them. I had these chopped up, and I had them in the, I vacuum sealed them and put them in the freezer, and I put the date, but I just did not put which type of pepper they were. Looking really good, but I'm gonna put a few more onions in there, and then I'm gonna put a little more bacon in there to finish all of this out. Put a little bit more of the ranch dressing in there, and then put some more cheese. And you know that if you watch some of my other videos, you know that I really like to shred a lot of my own cheese. I think it tastes better actually. And I think that if you're actually using it to cook, we're not cooking this, but if you're using it in a recipe, you're cooking something, I think it cooks better. And then sometimes, I'm not picky about everything, but on that, if you just look at what all they put in shredded cheese to keep all those pieces separated and all shredded like that, it's kind of scary. So I do like to shred it when I can. Now, as I'm doing this, I think I want to go ahead and put a little bit more cheese in. Put quite a bit. And that ought to do it. Whenever I've made this, I cannot make it the same way that Toby does. I don't know what she does, but man, when she makes it, it is fantastic. So I'm hoping that I can at least come close. So now let me go get my serving dish. Looky here, y'all. This is looking so good. I got it all mixed together, put it in a nice serving dish. What I think will really help with this dip is when I serve it, because I'm going to be doing this tomorrow, when I serve it, I think what would look really, really good is to take some crushed up pecans and put all over the top. Okay, y'all, so let's do a quick recap of all these dips for our dip marathon that we had. So over here we have our spinach dip. Now tomorrow I'm going to put a nice little topping on there. Same thing back here with our cheese ball, our cream cheese ball and jalapenos. We'll put some pecans all over the top there. This little dish is all ready to go. It's our Mexican dip, and y'all, this just looks so nice. And over here we've got two more in the back. We have our cream cheese and fruit dip, and in the front right here, this is our creamy spinach dip. So hopefully y'all have enjoyed this. Be sure and click subscribe and that like button, and I will see you on that next video that's popping up. Bye bye.